This podcast episode may contain explicit material. Listener-viewer discretion is advised. The intention is not to offend, but to provide information. Proceed only if you are comfortable with potentially sensitive content.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with Sheriff Jason Ard. I'm Jason Ard. We started this podcast to educate everyone on the role of the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. We're about serving and protecting our community. On this podcast, we will tackle lots of topics. Well, good morning. I am going to be continuing our episodes on Barbara Blount. It's been 17 years. We all want to know what happened to her. This is one of those cases that sticks with you. I think all, including the family, we just want answers, and we are not going to stop until we get those answers and hopefully bring some kind of justice to Barbara Blount, who very much deserves it. Today, I have in the studio with me two gentlemen that you've never heard from that were actually the assigned detectives on the Barbara Blount case. One is currently with me at the Sheriff's Office, which is Captain Kevin Harold. Thanks for being with me today, Kevin.
Glad to be here.
And the other is Mr. Chuck Watts, who is a retired detective from the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Chuck and I worked together for years, and Chuck, you worked a lot of big cases when you was at the Sheriff's Office. Most of our high-profile cases, I know you were assigned. I remember that like it was yesterday. But Chuck Watts, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And so as we get into this case a little bit more, I wanted you to hear from the guys, like I said, the boots on the ground. We'll take you behind the scenes a little bit. And Chuck, you how long was you with the Sheriff's Office? When did you start?
I started somewhere around the mid to late 80s.
Okay. And you, where did you start? And you was in juvenile at one time. I feel like that's where you was when I actually first came to work here in 93, but I can't really remember.
I started out at the detention center, as most people do. Mm-hmm. And I stayed there a while and went through transportation for a little while, and then on the road, and actually went into juvenile and eventually into detectives.
Mm-hmm. Just for the record, the reason I didn't meet Chuck when he was a juvenile detective and I was being an unruly juvenile.
No.
Okay.
Should have.
Make this right.
Should have.
Yeah. So, and I know that you've worked, like I said, a lot of high-profile cases, and so Barbara Blount, me and you've talked about this recently. This case is obviously is a case that you were very clear when I talked to you. It still bothers you today.
Absolutely. It's very seldom do I not think about this. I'm not going to say daily or weekly, but about the time you just think that nothing's going on, all of a sudden it pops in your mind.
Right.
It's probably one of the only unsolved cases that I was involved with.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you're correct about that.
Yeah.
We've looked back. I mean, we have a few and very few, which is contribute to y'all's investigation skills, but this was one that haunts us all.
It does.
Kevin, how long have you been with the Sheriff's Office?
I'm working on 27 years.
27 years.
Yes.
And take me through your tenured here.
I started in uniform patrol. I've done 8.5 years, and then I got promoted to detectives.
Okay. And so we're going to take people back to 2008, which was May the 2nd, whenever Barbara Blount goes missing. Kevin made it very clear to me you was a rookie detective.
I was.
You know about how long you'd been in detectives?
Probably less than a year.
Less than a year. Not a better person to have with you, right, Chuck?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good detective.
Yeah. So, we're gonna take people through the scene, and the biggest question that I have, and I want to kind of start out with that, and I'll start with you, Chuck. Take me through that day that you can remember. Like, you get the phone call from dispatch or Stan, whoever it is. Who actually called you?
I got a call from dispatch.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, Sheriff, it was on a Friday afternoon, and Detective Harold and myself, we were the weekend detectives, meaning we came in at 2 o'clock in the evening and we was on call till, we had to work till 10 and then was on call till 4 a.m. and then the day shift took over. Detective Harold had went and was checking on something, and I was at the courthouse, and all the courthouse personnel was already gone. So it was after 4 o'clock. I get the call of a missing person, Miss Blount, and at that time, I think I called Chief of Detective Stan Carpenter and advised him, and Detective Harrell and I got together and we went there. In fact, I think Detective Harrell got on the scene before I did.
I did, yes.
And when we got there, it started raining bad. We went by the house there, and we noticed that the house had been cleared already and secure. So we actually went down to where the car was at, and at that time, the water was up over my shoes. And by the time that we got our record there, I think Detective Bourgeois was there with the record, if I'm not mistaken, and it was already inside the car. And as we know as investigators, there's 2 things that destroys evidence: fire and water. And we caught the water.
Right.
So we were at a disadvantage due to the water. And this is in a wooded area where her car was, even though it was off the road. There was a lot of woods there, and I remember the woods even just being flooded. But we got there, and then we went back to the house and walked through it and took a look at it. Detective Harrell and I did, and Detective Bourgeois, which now is the chief of detectives. I'm proud for him. And he came there. I think him and Detective Sager did the process, the crime scene at the house, which everything was just
Clean.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't know if Miss Blount was just like to keep things clean, or she just was doing spring cleaning and doing everything right, because pots was out and where she had been dusting and all.
Right.
So it was she kept a very clean house.
Yeah, I was talking to Stan Carpenter about it. Excuse me. One of the things that we had talked about was like she had some windows open, some cleaning stuff out, like the pots pulled out of the cabinet like you'd be cleaning, that kind of stuff, not rumble through like it would be that a suspect would have went through and rumbled through everything. He said the same thing. What was and I know that everybody, we talk about the phone, the cordless phone, it's on the porch. One of the things I didn't realize is when you said earlier that when you got on scene, you already had water over your shoes.
That's correct.
And I knew it was coming up fast, but I didn't realize it was coming up that fast. And but tell us about the cordless phone.
Okay. There was a cordless phone on the carport, and we noticed that it had been knocked over or fell over. In the back, it was off of it, and the battery was out. And it puzzled me for a while. Was this something intentionally, meaning a struggle, or was it something accidental that maybe the wind blew over? Because it was windy, it was stormy that evening.
Right.
So eventually, a day or two later, when I was able to go home, I had my cordless phone because I didn't know if the office would call with information or whatever, and I had it sitting up on my carport, and I accidentally hit it, and when it fell over just like the one at Barbara Blount's house. So that kind of relieved my mind a little bit, because if it had been a struggle, there should have been other stuff moved, and we did not see that.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's the only thing that you had that was a sign of a possible struggle would have been the phone.
correct.
There was nothing else at her house on that scene that showed any sign of struggle other than that, And I looked at the photos a couple of times, and I mean, it wasn't thrown against the wall, it wasn't thrown on the ground, but and it's still a possibility that it could have been a struggle and it got bumped where it was sitting and fell off. So it's there, but it's
Right.
It's the only thing we got, and Mother Nature was not cooperating with us that day at all. We know that.
Right. In fact, talking about the weather, we could not get the helicopter up that day. But I believe it was the next day, Detective Bourgeois and Chad West they got up and I think they flew for 5 straight days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And which didn't yield us any information.
Yeah.
I do remember that north of where her house, where her car was found, they got a road called Hull Lane, and they had some people out the next day that was there with 4-wheelers, on foot, horseback, you name it, and we was up in the air. And I do remember Raymond Blount. He was horseback, and he led his horse off into a ditch, and the horse and the Raymond had to swim out.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was, the flood. It wasn't as bad as 2016, but it was bad. We lost a lot of time and space there because of the water. So,
well, you got to preserve those crime scenes, and when the cards are stacked against you, they stacked against you. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it, you know.
That's correct.
Whenever I know when y'all got to the scene, there was a witness that was there, and I'm gonna what Kevin, you remember there was a witness that actually found Barbara Blount's car.
Yes.
And you was there where the car was located.
Yes. I eventually made it over there once I left the house.
And what was it? What did the scene look like when you got there? The car scene.
It was off the side of the gravel road, and then, like Chuck had said, it was raining.
Yeah.
Very hard. And I was there when Detective Bourgeois came, and we collected the keys, which was found on the side of the road. And
that's right. I forgot about that. So her keys were found on the side of the road. Would they look like they were dropped or thrown? Or?
Yeah, they looked like they were just dropped on the side. It was in between the car where it was parked on the gravel road, in between there and the highway.
Right. Okay. I remember seeing the photos, but
yes.
Okay. And I said, you're lucky to get that. If the water would have came up even faster or waited a little, if we wouldn't have found the car so quick, you may not even found the keys.
You probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because it was coming up that quick.
Yeah.
It was horrible. That day was horrible.
You remember I think y'all had so we had a suspect that actually found the car. Well, we had a person found the car, turned into a suspect, right? Because everybody's a suspect.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Everybody's a suspect. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and about 2 years or maybe 3 years ago, Detective Bourgeois and I, or Chief Bourgeois and I, actually went to try to solve the witnesses that seen the suspect on the side of the road with Barbara Blount. Y'all remember that? And that haunted us for a while. And so looking up and finding those witnesses, and we actually went and sat down and went to their house, talked to them a little while, and was able to rule that that person is the person that found the car, just a witness, who I'm sure y'all interrogated for quite some time. And his mother resembles Barbara Blount from what I remember. And so once we talked to him, we kind of ruled that that's who they seen on the side of the road when they passed.
Right.
When you kind of narrow down the time frame, that kind of stuff. And we may have all kind of knew that, but it just was one of those things that kept surfacing. And it may have been that we wasn't doing a great job of actually making sure that we put that out there, that, hey, this was a dead end. And so unless it was another timeline that we don't know, that there was actually a person fitting the same description that was standing with her.
Right.
And we all think have a feeling that she went from one car to another, and it was that quick.
Yes.
So Chuck, do you remember, I guess, the actual time that they realized that she was missing? Do you remember any, like, it was a daytime, nighttime, the last time somebody talked to her?
The information that I had came from the daughter, Christy, had said that she had went by and seen her mother, I believe, that morning before she went to work. She'd worked at Winn-Dixie in a meet, but she couldn't get a hold of her around noontime. So
Right.
I think this actually started maybe around noonish or thereafter. Is the information we had got.
And it had been a while since they had talked to her or seen her. I think they seen her or talked to her that morning.
As far as I can remember, Christy, the daughter of Barbara Blount, had stop by there on the way to work.
So I'm going to take people back in time, and you may not remember this, but I remember it's like it was yesterday. I don't know why. Certain things just kind of stick out in your head. But you told me you did something to the phone when you got there, hardline phone. You called the last number they called or something like that. You able to bring? You remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember that, Sheriff.
That's one of those old, the landlines, and you were able to dial something and gave you the last number or something.
Yeah, I
you
think
remember it was a way you could do that.
Yeah, I think it's either star 69 or star 67, one of the two.
Yeah.
One of them hid your number that you were on when you made a phone call.
Right.
And the other one was to get the last number there.
Yeah, I remember you could used to do that, but you told me you did it. And I think star 67 is how you hide your number. I think star
Correct.
69 maybe how you get the last number.
Correct.
But you did, and you called it. But I don't know why that sticks out in my head, but it does. But it's just investigative work. I mean, you're doing what you do every day. You go through the process. And of all the cases you've worked, I mean, what is your actual thought process about Barbara Blount? Where do you think? You think Barbara Blount's missing, or you think she's murdered?
I think she was murdered.
Yes.
I think it was a kidnapping or however you want to word it, and ultimately she was murdered.
Yes.
Yeah, my thoughts on this also when I first got to the house, I mean, nothing was out of place. So, being in law enforcement, we take a lot of missing person complaints, especially uniform patrol. And in most cases, those people return. They return home the next day or what have you. And my very first thought of this was hopefully this was going to be the same scenario that she would be found. But as the case went on and on with the phone we talked about, with her vehicle being parked where it was and the location was suspicious to me, and then I began to say, well, maybe this is not going to be that normal missing persons case, so that concerned me. And as a new detective, I was eager to learn and then, solve this case and find Miss Barbara.
So what I want to do real quick, I'd like to go over like the timeline. I'm gonna read through this, and I've done this before, but I don't think you can do it enough. Right. And then kind of get y'all's thoughts of after this is over with. But basically, so it's Friday, May the 2nd, 2008. 58-year-old Barbara Blount went missing. Midday from her home, 35580 Highway 1036 Holden. The Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office was alerted that evening. Once on scene, we learned this. No signs of forced entry. The back door was open. Pots were stacked on the kitchen floor. We know she intended to clean that day because apparently I think we actually asked questions around the family. And she was intending on either cleaning or just got through cleaning. Valuables were left in the residence in plain view. No appearance of any type of robbery. Appears as though someone lured her from her residence. Someone maybe she knew. We kind of talked about that, what you were kind of getting into. Everybody's a suspect, but obviously someone that she knew, we feel like, or maybe startled her, caught her off guard to where it was no struggle, but somebody obviously lured her from that residence in a way that they didn't leave a mess. Rainstorms completely hampered all our efforts that day. And basically everything was pretty much covered with water on the second crime scene where her car was actually located. Her vehicle was located approximately a quarter mile north of her residence. It was parked on a hunting club road in a wooded area. And if I remember right, if you turn on that road, it was to the right, kind of pulled in.
Correct.
Like somebody
That's
turned
correct.
down the road and then pulled into the wooded area.
Yes.
and parked it. It rained so much it covered the floorboard of the car right before y'all got it out of there. I think water actually got in the car.
About an inch.
About an inch on the floorboard. We canvassed the entire area. We interviewed everyone with a possible connection to Blount. Law enforcement partners, including Louisiana State Police and the FBI, helped us chase every single lead that we came across. Volunteers helped us search the area, and we searched waterways and wooded areas. And in that area where there's a lot of waterways because we're not far from the Tickfall River on the north end of the parish. And so that's probably where, and of course, anytime you got a river, you got a bunch of canals that kind of run off that river. So that whole area there was kind of swampy, if I remember.
Yes.
And not far from the river itself. Am I right on that?
Yes.
That's correct. Also, Sheriff, if you go down Highway 1036, a lot of our roads are in this parish. The road is a lot higher than the property.
A lot higher.
And that didn't help at all because we knew we was in a low. In fact, I used to hunt that years ago. That was an old KS hunting club. And I hunted there for years. And there's all kind of laterals coming off going through there.
Yeah.
And it's a slash back up in there.
Do y'all remember, so Louisiana State Police, their role, if I remember, was basically crime lab. The crime lab came in, State Police Crime Lab. FBI, what role did they play in this?
The FBI, they have a lot of resources, you know, and they basically come out and also put together with the sheriff's office a form that we would distribute to the people in the area, you know. And it was a questionnaire just like we did on another homicide case that I worked on years ago. I think we pretty well all worked on it too. And that was their main goal there, I believe, was to help us with the questionnaire that we got out to the public.
Yeah. You know, and it's good to have those resources. And, you know, when you're limited with your resources, I know back in 2008, we had a lot of resources, but we were still limited when it came to certain type of cases.
Correct.
Volunteers, I mean, I just remember being a lot of people in the area, which is common here in Livingston. When you have something and you need your community, they're going to step up. And I just remember being a lot of people on a previous interview. I remember Stan Carpenter kind of mentioned, and I kind of remember this. Remember that the horse riders out of Texas or something?
Correct.
I don't think they really realized the terrain that they were going to get into when they got down here to Louisiana. I mean, we're not on the coast here in Louisiana, but we absolutely up in the swamp world, and there's some very tough terrain here in Livingston Parish when you get off the beaten path. I mean, it's not easy. But I want to go. But I know that I just want to recall some stuff, and I want to kind of get into that. How many calls did we got the next 2 or 3 weeks? And the reason I know, when you go through this file, it sees a lot of y'all just having to follow up on so many tips. Location of the possible where her body was dumped, or they may have seen her in a grocery store, whatever. Do you any of those kind of jump out at you that just sticks with you? That you feel like that, you know, we could have not that we could have covered it a little. Is anything that kind of sticks out at you as an investigator?
Nothing as far as the tips. I need to go back and just bring up that we dealt with what little bit of evidence we had.
Right.
A very little bit. When you run your evidence out, you have to rely on information.
That's right.
And you're only as good as the information you get.
100%.
And we chased it. It didn't matter if it was me, Detective Harold, Chief Boozwall, Chief Carpenter, whoever. If me as a lead detective, if I'm not around, the sheriff's office don't wait on Chuck or Kevin Harold to come and go do it. We always sent somebody. We chased a call or something to investigate. We didn't wait on the lead investigators. We jumped on it, which is a good thing. And you had mentioned something about all the people that volunteered and came there.
Right.
It's a good thing because a lot of times, another case that I worked, the main suspect was right there in my hip pocket the whole time because he wanted to know what we were doing.
Right.
And
they get pretty brave at times.
They do, because they think that if they can get close to us, we're going to say something that may benefit them.
Right.
So in all my years of working cases like this, you only had one of three reasons to kill somebody: profit, love, or revenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about someone getting in a car wreck and killing someone.
Right.
But the old saying, you kill my brother, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
So, hey, I understand you got a lot of dope in your house, so you got to have a lot of money too.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do this profit, and it turned bad, and it was a murder.
Right.
And I loved her. I didn't want nobody else to have her, so I killed her or him,
Right.
But we really did have a lot of people, like you say, that came there.
Speaking of Barbara Blount, she was she just had this reputation of being a really good person, and y'all during your investigate, you didn't find no enemies. She just wasn't that person. She was a very strong lady, very physically capable of taking care of herself. I think that actual day, she kind of wrangled one of her cows because she raised cattle, and they said that one of them got hung up in a fence or barbed wire or something. She had to put it in a headlock, and look, man, that takes a lot of strength to be able to do those kind of things. So I know at her age, she wasn't like an 85 to 90-year-old person that was incapable of maybe physically holding somebody else. So we know that she was physically capable. She was a very sweet lady. Her reputation was of that. And couldn't find anybody in the community had a bad thing to say about her. I mean, she helped people when she could help them, and she was loved by many, And so it's just she, of all people, to me, and we've said this in previous interviews, she is a true victim, and most people are a victim. This is not a person that was at a crack house, having a bad drug problem or whatever, comes up missing. This was a person that had lived a decent life, worked hard, raised a family, was a widowed. Her husband that was killed in an accident, and she didn't deserve this. And so I know that's why we're sitting here, because it hurts us as investigators that we're trying to solve a case and run into a lot of dead ends. But then again, there's a lot of good leads out there that kind of leads us to certain individuals that we just don't have all the pieces to the puzzle yet, so to speak. And what was your take on Barbara Blount, Chuck? I know you investigated and met a lot of her family members and friends.
Right. I never knew Barbara Blount before that day.
Mm-hmm.
I knew her husband. I knew him as Junior, and I knew about him in the accident that he got killed in. But not to just go back and repeat everything you said about her, because you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
I tried finding something bad about her. As an
well, that's what you do.
Yeah,
you have to try to dig things up like that.
Right, and I actually went to Magnolia Baptist Church. I got a phone call from Chief Carpenter and informed me that I was going to church that Sunday, and to their church. And after church, we would have a question and answer.
Mm-hmm.
And after the church, I got up in front and I talked to people and I answered their questions to the best of my ability. As when you're doing investigations, there's some things you can say and there's some things you can't say. You got to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to know Barbara starting May the 2nd in 2008.
Right.
And I got to know her pretty well. She didn't have boyfriends. She wasn't interested in dating. There was a person that told me that someone had asked her out and she said no, that she was a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Junior had been killed. So it was nothing on her computer. A lot of people, of course, computers have changed from back in 2008 till now.
Right.
I still don't know how to turn them on.
Yeah.
But there was nothing on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Such as singles looking for singles.
Right, right. No interest at all on her.
None, zero. And she was a very strong lady. I think she even had a buffalo they were raising. So I mean, I don't know. I've been years since I've raised cows, but man, it's pretty good chore with the buffalo and all. But she was a very strong woman. You had said something earlier, Sheriff, about when we started the investigation, looking at suspects, and we talked to the family. I always used the family first. In other words, if her husband would have been living, I wanted to clear him.
Right.
Then the kids.
And the kids.
Then
right.
the other relatives, and then just keep expanding out until we zeroed in on somebody. But I never could get just a good solid lead, even though we did get a hit on through CODIS one day.
Right.
And myself and the chief and Chief Bourgeois went and talked to the suspect. I want to rephrase it. Talked to the person, and we was able to clear him. And that took us to below New Orleans somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. And we had one time I went to the family member that lived in Mississippi. Chief Bourgeois and myself, and DNA'd him. He was related to him through marriage, had the same last name. And I'm kind of bouncing around, but that goes back to where we chased everybody, every lead. If we got a call and said, hey, you need to go polygraph Detective Harold.
Right.
We did what we had to do.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
there's no doubt.
We never put blinders on and
Yeah.
just looking tunnel vision. We never had tunnel vision.
You know, it's and I'm just going to say this. In '08, I was actually the chief of operations. In that same year, I was promoted to chief deputy. All this was going on, but in my tenure for 32 years, and I say this very honest from the time I started, and I can't say in the years that I was in the detention center because I didn't really work with detectives in the detention center much. You know, every now and then we'd have an occasional complaint that y'all would have to come in. But one of the things I want to get at is the confidence when you become a road deputy in your detectives is very important. That you have confidence that they're going to do their due diligence to solve these cases. And whenever you hear, when I first started, you know, you'd hear certain, you know, a couple of names that was there, and I'm not going to sit here and say that you wouldn't roll your eyes a little bit, you know. Maybe they were on their way out, didn't really want to investigate. But when we had these homicides, I mean, y'all were always boots on the ground, all hands on deck. We didn't have a lot of people to pull from. Our division grew a little bit, but, you know, from the time I got – I don't think y'all added by the time I got in detectives, it was still the same amount of people. And I went to detectives in 99 or 98, I think, during that time frame. It was in 98, and I went 97, 98, 99, I was in detectives. And y'all haven't grew at all.
Eight.
And so we were still replacing people as they retired. And, of course, we investigated everything. But my point is, having confidence in your investigators is vitally important. Knowing that you don't have to go through and double check. And as your chief of operations, and in being the sheriff today, I have the utmost confidence that y'all gave it your all. You still do every day. It still bothers us. These things, we take them personally because this is our community. It is. And these are our people. We're responsible for them to keep them safe. And my hat's off to you guys because I know that y'all were those investigators. You know, I know Kevin was a rookie investigator, but you hung around for a while after that. You continued to solve good cases. And Chuck, your reputation was that. I mean, you handled a lot of our high-profile cases. Did a great job, you know. And these cases will take a toll on you. They really will. And so before we close, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Is there anything that just kind of jumps out at you or anything you want to say before we go, Chuck, on this case?
The only thing I'd like to add is I don't care who clears it. I'm not that type person.
Right.
Would I like to have cleared it? Absolutely. Not from a feather in the hat standpoint, but to satisfy me. I would like to have cleared it, but I don't care who clears it. I just want to live long enough to see that it's cleared to put the family at rest and peace. And also the sheriff's office. I mean, we don't get this every day.
Right.
This, I don't know if we've had one unsolved since I retired. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we haven't.
But I know this, we always had a very, very high clearance rate.
We still do today. A lot of that is you guys kind of built the foundation for that, and it continues on, you know. I mean, look, the chief of detectives now is somebody that you molded whenever he came in.
Yes.
And he, you and Stan and the rest of them, I mean, y'all had your hands in a lot of them. I mean, Kevin's a captain now. He's worked his way up through the ranks. And all that comes through your mentors as you're coming up. I'm not going to give y'all the credit for making me sheriff, but I will. Because everybody that you work with and you look up to touches you some kind of way. You learn something about them, you know. And little things like Chuck never used to button these little buttons on his shirt. I remember that. Weird. I just remember things like that. And but you have an impact on everybody.
Well, I appreciate it. And I hope it's a good impact.
You do. It's always good, and people learn from you. And as a road deputy, when you're thirsty, one of the things I can commend you for is you absolutely would answer any question I had. And you didn't mind pointing out mistakes. A lot of people don't do that these days. They'll go and tell everybody else about your mistake, but they won't tell you. And you can't learn.
You cannot.
From that. You got to know that you messed up, or and own it, and understand. Okay, well, I screwed up on that. I'll make sure it won't happen again. So thank you for your service, what you've given to this parish, this office, and it's a lot. And like I said, there's a lot of people that got justice because of your tenure here at the sheriff's office. So that is greatly appreciated. And I want to make sure I said that. Kevin, anything?
I just want to say as well, I learned a lot from Chuck. Chuck taught me a whole bunch. Ben, I even rode with you on patrol when I was a reserve.
No, let's not talk about that.
But, you know, I learned a lot from all of you guys, and I appreciate that. The last thing I'd like to say, if there's any tips or anything that comes out that we can, excuse me, that we can find Miss Barbara or find out what happened, I just ask that you give those tips, because I know 100% they will be traced to the end and followed up on. So,
yes,
please, if any tips out there, you know, let us know.
I would like to add this. Even though I'm retired, Chief Bourgeois can tell you, I talk to him anytime I get information. Any of the deputies, be it the ones that I know or the ones that I don't know, everybody knows pretty well where I live. Pick up the phone. I got the same cell phone number that was issued to me through the Livingston Sheriff's Office years ago. And it don't have to be about this case or any particular case. Livingston Sheriff's Office is still my home. And I'm here. I'll help anybody that I can. And it would hurt my feelings if I know somebody needed some information or some help and I could have provided that. It would really hurt me, you know.
Well, I appreciate that. And I knew, look, when I called you to come on the show, you were, look, man, just let me know when and I'll be there.
Yeah.
And that's always been Chuck Watt. So Chuck, thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Kevin. I want to say this. Remember, Barbara Blount was 2008. It was May the 2nd. She came up missing. And at the time, Miss Barbara Blount, her date of birth is 3/29/50. She had brownish gray hair, green eyes. She was around 5'7" and 150 pounds. And Kevin said it earlier. If you have information, please give us that tip. Call in. You can get on our app, and we have a tip line. Woody Overton was on the show. Woody kind of put his out there. If maybe you don't want to talk to law enforcement, we respect that. That's one of the things that we've done on this case. Unlike some of the other ones, we have been outside the box trying to get other avenues of just trying to find avenues of success. And sometimes this just doesn't come from your office. And I don't mind saying that, because whatever help we can get, we want to get it. So with that, please, if you have information, call us. If it's the same information, call us again. We don't mind re-looking at those, that information, re-looking at the same old tips, because you never know what you might have realized that maybe you missed something, and it happens. So with that, thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Kevin. And look, those of you, if you're listening and you're enjoying the podcast, remember to follow us on YouTube or whatever listening platform you may be using. Doing this is completely free and a great way to be alerted as new episodes drop. So that'll do it for Behind the Scenes with Sheriff Jason Ard. We appreciate all of you listening. Please download our LPSO app, follow us on social media, like it, share it, and continue to follow us. And as always in Livingston Parish, we love our schools, we love our churches, and we absolutely believe in the Second Amendment. Be blessed, and thank you.